Derby County are in the battle for a brand new midfielder. Now, we already know Derby County are searching for midfielders, with only Liam Thompson and Tyrese Warne taking up those roles as first team players as it stands for next season. We know that Derby County are currently in talks for Ibu Adams at Cardiff City, Kenzo Goodman from AZ Alkmaar, and now we have a third player to add to that list of midfielders in a midfield which Paul Warne wants to revolutionise. We have Stefan Thordarson from Iceland. What an incredible name, and he could be such an incredible player, but Derby County face a tough challenge to bring the player to Pride Park. Will he make the move to Pride Park, or will he go elsewhere? If you have not done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below or in this top corner. Stay tuned for all of my latest Derby County, EFL Championship and League One content heading your way over the course of the next year. Let me know what sort of videos you do want to see over the course of this next year, and hit that like button while you're down there, and I'll catch you in the next part of this video. So here we have it then. Derby County are in a battle to sign Stefan Thordarson from, I think it's Silkeborg. And it's going to be really interesting to see what does happen with this one. On screen right now, you'll be able to see the first release. There has been a ton of releases since, which I'm going to get into over the course of this video. And this basically says that Derby County have made an offer for Stefan Thordarson, and negotiations are underway for him to leave his current club and head to Derby County before his contract expires in the next few months. There was also another release, which you'll see on screen now, but obviously this one isn't in English, so we'll skip on to the translation. And this basically discusses the negotiations that are going on and what could potentially happen with Stefan Thordarson. So if we then go on to the next bit, you will finally see who Stefan Thordarson is. He is an Icelandic international, and I believe he played in the game at Wembley against England just a few weeks ago. So it is going to be very interesting to see how this one does go down. Now, if we do take a look further into Stefan Thordarson, he's 25 years old, currently playing at Silkeborg. His contract expires in December of this year. He currently has 20 caps and 1 goal for the Icelandic international team, and he has a current asking price of £800,000 from what I've read and seen from journalists over with Silkeborg and things like that. Now, if we look at his career as a whole, I'm not 100% sure if this includes his youth appearances for his current club or if it's purely senior appearances, but he's made 234 appearances with 15,282 minutes, 43 goals, 18 assists and 31 yellow cards. Now, I think he looks like a really, really good player. He's made 126 appearances for Silkeborg with 16 goals and 12 assists. He's made 104 appearances for IA Akrans, I'm going to say, with 26 goals and 6 assists, and 4 appearances and 1 goal for Silkeborg's reserves. Now, there is a range of versatility for this player, and I think he fits perfectly into what Paul Warne is trying to do. He can play anywhere along the right hand side, he can play on the left wing, and anywhere through the middle apart from centre half. Now, I think this could be an absolute perfect signing for Derby County. Now, if we do look at the positions, he played 1 appearance in a range of different positions, but he's played 97 in central midfield, 16 in that holding midfield slot, 16 in centre forward, and 11 in the attacking midfield slot. So that versatility really, really fits into what Paul Warne is trying to do with this Derby County squad, and having a range of players who can fit in a range of different positions, and we can manoeuvre between systems as games go on. So we can start with a back 4, move into a back 5 as the game progresses. Can we start with a front 2 and move it into a front 4? Can we start in with a solo striker and have 3 in behind, or 3 more defensive minded midfielders, and then progress it as the game goes on? All these things will be in Paul Warne's mind when looking into signings this off season. And if we do look into the depth chart, obviously I think he'd come in and be a central midfielder for us, taking over from Liam Thompson or Tyrese Warne as one of those main midfielders. But obviously he can play over on that right hand side, he can play over on the left in worst case scenario, and he can play anywhere within that front 3. So it's definitely a possibility that he could manoeuvre himself between positions until he finds himself somewhere where he fits within our squad. Now, the big thing to talk about with this deal is it would be a permanent transfer, between the costs of 700 and 800,000 pounds. Now, in the tweet below, it says 7 million, and that's because I think it's Danish krone is 10 times what ours is, if that makes sense, what GDP is, GBP. So it's between 7 and 800,000 pounds. The big conversation, the big talking point will be about Preston and QPR. You've probably seen on the ticker below that all three clubs are interested, and as it stands at the moment, there has been a set of different reports. It was initially reported yesterday evening that he was going to come to sign for Derby. Then a few hours later, it was reported that he's going to go and sign for QPR. Then it was reported that everything's done and he's signing for Preston. Now, from the tweets I have seen, I am led to believe that he is heading over to England today. Now, I personally believe he's probably coming over to England to take a look at the options. I reckon he'll do his medical today. Then he'll go and see all the training grounds, meet with all the managers, and then make a decision that way, rather than making a decision based on like a conversation. So I think that's what we're going to see with Thordarson over the next few days. Will it be a decision where he ends up coming to Derby? Now, personally, I'm not sure where he's going to end up. I think Derby County will probably be on the low end of the pay scale. Obviously, we know Preston North End have just lost Alan Brown. He decided to move on after being offered 30 grand a week. QPR, we know the position they're in, but obviously Derby County are in a bit of a different situation to both of them clubs. Newly promoted, and only 2 senior central midfielders on the books. So it could be a case of he could end up at Derby County because we probably do have the best facilities out of the 3 teams. And we probably do end up giving him the most option for game time. Now, at the moment, obviously, we do know Derby County are talking to Cardiff City about a potential deal for Ibu Adams. We also know there's potential conversations going on with AZ Alkmaar about Kenzo Gudjmin. So the big question is, are we going to play a midfield 3? Are we going to play a midfield 2? These are all questions which I assume Stefan Thordarson will have heading into this potential transfer with the club. And it's one of those for me which could really change the mind of a player. Is he going to come into Derby County and be a first choice midfielder? Or is he going to come into Derby County and have to work his way in, have to really find himself a balance within that team? Now, obviously, if you look at the likes of Preston and QPR, they've got like pretty settled squads really. Obviously, every team in the division is looking to improve this off-season, but obviously us as Derby County are probably in the best position to sort of go, well, look, we've got 2 senior midfielders. We don't really have a lot of competition right now. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that one does progress. Obviously, with all the rumours going around, I think it's really hard to pinpoint where he's going to end up. As it stands, as I'm recording this video at 1 o'clock on the 7th, he hasn't been announced anywhere, and Derby County are quite clearly interested. This name has been bandied about on the forum probably for the past 3 or 4 weeks, if not a bit longer than that. So it's one of those for me where it's not a deal I'm surprised about, but it's been hard to discuss because we've had no official links, and now we have the official links. We know Derby are interested. We know the asking price. For me, I think paying 700,000 for Thordarson and then potentially spending 500, 600, 700,000 pounds on Ibu Adams, and then whatever Kenzo Gudjmin costs could be like a real replication of our midfield, a real change to what Derby County have tried to do over previous seasons. Now, you can let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and if you have not done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below or in this top corner to stay tuned for all of my latest Derby County and EFL Championship and League One content heading your way over the course of this upcoming season, and I'll catch you in my next video. Make sure to go and find me on TikTok, pictured here, and Twitter, pictured here. These are the places where I'll keep you all up to date with all my upcoming videos and my thoughts and feelings around the Formula 1 and football weekend.